Hello, and welcome back. As you can see, once again, I'm in the grow room. Welcome back to the grow room. Thanks for joining me. This video today is going to be a really powerful tool, something I use on a regular basis, something anyone can use to really break free from the prison that your conditioning can be. I call this talk how to break free from what I call the social cramp. The ego. Your ego, our ego. I like to call the ego a social cramp. And it's very appropriate. And I'll explain. That's kind of silly too. You see, when you get a cramp, let's say you get a cramp in your hamstring, your leg will cramp up and it hurts. And it pulls and pulls, and it kind of seems like, with your hamstring, if I'm using the biceps as an example, it seems like it happens on its own. And it seems like it's difficult to stop a cramp. Have you ever had a cramp in your hamstring? You have to, as soon as you sense it coming on, you got to straighten your leg right away. You got to really bring yourself in the here, in the now, and you really got to get on top of that before it really cramps up on you. Because if you've ever had a cramp in your hamstring or in your calf, it's really painful. You see, the ego, your ego, is just like a cramp. And the reason I call it a social cramp is the ego is most manifest oftentimes when you're around other people. Your personality, your fake face. So usually a person will say something and on comes that cramp. Your conditioned response, just like a cramp comes on, oftentimes without you really knowing it's coming. Your ego will react to something someone says, and it has such a strong pull that before you know it, you're defending your position. And you might not even realize it, but you're just like the leg cramping on you, without you realizing, or too fast. Your hamstring might be cramped all the way up, and you might be in that excruciating pain. And the only real difference between cramp and the ego is it's not quite as physically painful, at least not as obvious. But in the same way that you bring yourself into the moment and make your cramp go away, the same method can be used to bring yourself into the moment and to deteriorate the ego, your social cramp. When you realize you're lost in self-defense over something that's ridiculous, something that has no need of your defense whatsoever, when you're acting and you're taking something so personally that an hour or two later you're going to look back and say, you know what, yeah, I was overreacting. That's the key right there. And that's another way to look at your ego, is an overreaction. The ego is an overreaction to a situation you take really personally, and it has all to do with your beliefs. So you see, very simply put, a powerful tool you can use to bring awareness and to dissolve the ego, to return to yourself, to return to a centered standpoint where you can be who you really are and not lose yourself in the moment, not lose yourself in anger, jealousy, and all those emotions that have such a strong pull, is the same kind of technique you might use to take I'm lost for words here, as you can tell. The same kind of technique you would use to get rid of the cramp. It takes awareness, and you have to, with a certain urgency, pull yourself and look at yourself. Look at what you're doing. Oftentimes when you do this, you're going to notice, and you probably do this quite often during your emotional outburst, you're going to notice that a part of you wants to look away immediately. You don't want to defend yourself, you want to defend yourself not only from the person that seems to be attacking you, but also from yourself watching and catching yourself. There seems to be a part of you inside of you that doesn't want to stop. That is the ego. That is the cramp. That's the pain. And it's not only you that feels it. You see, that's the issue with your ego, is it's not only destructive for you, but it's destructive for others. And unfortunately, the world we live in today is full of egomaniacs, especially in politics. The lust for power, domination over others. You see, I don't think this is going to be a very long video. And I don't want to give you a tool that you're going to use. It's not about using this. It's not something that you do. You don't apply this. This is more of a noticing when the ego comes up in you. What I'm telling you here is so that you can recognize when you're in it, when you're lost. So when your social cramp comes over you, take notice and just watch how you're destroying yourself, how you're destroying others around you. And you don't need anything, you don't need to do anything the same way you would stop a cramp. But just your simple awareness, just notice, and you're going to see that it might take some time at first, but when you start looking at it, when you just bring the light of your awareness to what it is that you're doing, to your ego, that tends to dissolve it. And sometimes really quickly. Really quickly. So wherever you are around the world, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, spending this time with me here, this time with yourself, for yourself. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Peace.